members of the Egyptian Council of Foreign Affairs. We can one gentleman here with us. As we restart, Dr. Qorei, well, the situation in Egypt, lately, and like every week that passes, we just like try to kind of just sum it up, or what we see, like the developments and the good points, bad points. How do you see?
Well, I see some progress being made. Slowly, we're getting there. Remember, the problem was huge and complicated. And to solve that problem, mainly political and economic, it takes time. And we Egyptians, we are not really keen on waiting. We don't have this virtue of being patient, like French people, by the way. We're not in the same category. But anyway, it needs time, lots of effort, and we have the example of Mr. Sisi, our president. He is doing a tremendous job. He works, I don't know how many hours a day. He wakes up at 5, goes to bed, I don't know, maybe 10. And the Prime Minister, they are giving the example. But unfortunately, not everybody is following suit. Some ministers are doing a very good job, others, less. And that's why they're having in mind, to make some changes, whether on the level of the governors or the ministers. And I think the time is right for this change, because we are looking forward. We would like to achieve results very quickly, because the population suffered a long time, and they cannot wait any longer. I understand them. They are not patient because what they have seen during the last years. So not only that, I see that the president is traveling all over the world, trying to boost the interest of the foreign investors, politicians abroad, and so on. And I'm a strong believer that, the direct contact is much better than writing, corresponding with other people by telephone, like it happens frequently with politicians. So he does that. And the last thing that he did is the Davos meeting. I have studied in Switzerland. I know Davos very well. It's a very famous ski resort, and for African people. And Mr. Schwab, when he thought about it, it was an excellent idea. Expanding, getting more of the attention in the world, getting very important because of exchanging the ideas and thoughts, especially on the global issues, the world economy, because this is the mother of the things, and from this point, you have the various economies all over the world, but it derives from this very important strategy of the whole world, the global world. So in summary, I see, yes, there is a certain progress being made, but it will take some time. And now we have the confidence of the world, the foreign people, not all of them, most of them. And the most important part is the Egyptian business people. I think the momentum is gaining strength among our business people, and we'll see the results hopefully soon.
Hopefully, Mr. Mourad.
Well, I think it's a very busy week to analyze less than 1 hour program. We have events I want to focus on. First of all, we want to pay our condolences to our Saudi neighbors and friends for their great loss. We would have loved to celebrate tomorrow the anniversary of the revolution. Unfortunately, we will be not, but the celebration is more of what we'll be doing for the future. Everybody is waiting for the cabinet changes, cabinet reshuffle, slight cabinet reshuffle, and full governor's reshuffle. This will give a great signal to the people who are heading, as we did not have a laid out plan. But the most important item this week are actually 2 items. One is the decrease in the interest rate by 0.5% by the Central Bank of Egypt, which is giving a clear signal that we are easing the economy and that we want to stimulate the economy for growth. This coupled with a rumor or a saying that we might be cutting down on university education for free for people who just spend a good time at university. If you put this in line, because these were actions preceding President Sisi's speech at the World Economic Forum,
Yes.
I wanted to say that for the first time we have a numerical plan in the last 4 years, but I discovered that Egypt's President Mourad also never gave us a clear plan. So we have a plan which I now call the 5-by-5 plan, because it's a 5-point plan to be achieved in 5 years as President Sisi laid out, which is, before getting to the plan, he announced that Egypt is fighting terrorism, and that is the same terrorism in France, which is in Egypt. We are looking at the stability of our neighboring country, friends and brothers in Syria, in Iraq, in Yemen, in Libya, and we're very concerned about that. He announced that he will continue the struggle for the Palestinian people, and that Africa is neglected. So he assured the pillars of we are representing Islam. The terrorists don't represent Islam. We are the moderate Muslims. We're Arabs in unity, and we're Africans by nature and living conditions. Then he went in the plan, and the 5-point plan laid out was fiscal and monetary structure reform, where he has achieved success and got lucky. We reduced subsidy on oil. We were lucky that global oil prices fell by 50%. So it's what we call a double dip, because we gained twice, and this made Minister Hani Adri able to say that the budget deficit is going to be 10 to 10.5, and that growth might exceed the 4%, which was before estimated at 3.5% of GDP. The other issue is increasing transparency, enhancing the investment climate, and removing any hurdles to investment. Number 3 is a sustained comprehensive structural reform and the social safety net. And number 4 was good infrastructure to enable business through roads and traffic projects. On the forefront of then the Suez Canal, the 3,000 kilometers first stage, and also he mentioned the 1 million fadhan of agriculture. And last but not least, the institutional reform, regulating the relationship between the private sector and the government, fighting corruption and pension reform, whereby we want to achieve a sustained growth of 7% in 2020 and get unemployment under 10%. But the most important, this is the first time the President and Egypt announce what can we label Egypt's economics. Are we liberal, social, whatever? What the President said is a social market economy plan. He said the private sector is the driver, clear of the economy, and the government role is a regulator, enabler, and supporter. And stressed a lot on social support for lesser lucky people, where we can say this is clearly a social market economy trend, which the President never explained so clearly. I think the private sector will love this, the foreign and the local. The slight depreciation of the Egyptian pound versus the dollar makes clear to the world that Egypt is talking business. We don't want half of duality in business. Investors who come in will exchange their foreign currency at a better rate, thus having a better incentive, especially that everybody expects that after the huge investment which we expect in the coming months and year, the rate will go down, so they might gain also on the currency.
Maybe I want to add something. We always forget or neglect the environmental aspect of the country.
Yes.
And this is vital for any progress, whether it is economical or social or whatever it is. And the environment and the pollution and the change in the climate, all of this will have a direct impact on the economy, whether it is the health of the Egyptian or the agricultural output or the industrial output. So I wish that in our next meetings this should be spoken about, explain to the investors, because the investor also, when he comes into a country, he looks for that environmental aspect, in addition to something extremely important that was not mentioned, the energy. You know, the investor checks about the availability of energy, otherwise he'll face problems.
So you have problems these days?
Yes.
You've been having problems for some time?
You know, what happens is that, you know, the production of oil and gas is not sufficient. There is always a gap between the consumption and the production. So now we should rely on the renewable energy. And I see that the wind energy is progressing very well. You can see it along the Red Sea when you travel by car. There are large areas where you have this functioning day and night when the